Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to the LUMS Live session. This is a 118th session of LUMS Live. So we are here to discuss learning losses, first COVID and then floods. And then we face learning challenges that we have never ever faced before. So we have over here, we are co-hosting a series of talks in collaboration with ITIAs, and we are very privileged to have our very own Dr. Tahir Andrabi, who is the inaugural Dean of School of Education, with us to talk about it. Dr. Tahir Raza Shah Andrabi is the Stedman-Sumner Professor of Economics, Pomona College. He's the co-founder and director, Social Policy and Public Goods Program of Center for Economic Research in Pakistan. He has been a visiting scholar at MIT and a consultant for World Bank. From 1999 to 2000, he served as a member of the Tax and Macroeconomic Committees of the Economic Advisory Board of the Government of Pakistan. He has been the principal investigator on the 4-year longitudinal study on quality of primary education in rural Punjab, which was funded by the World Bank and the National Science Foundation. He was also the principal investigator in a National Academy of Science so he was also the principal investigator in a National Academy of Science Higher Education Commission Pakistan grant on evaluating recovery from October 2005. And he co-founded the website risebeapark.com to help coordinate relief in the aftermath of the October 2005 earthquake, and which was awarded the Stockholm Challenge Award 2006 for the best ICT project in the public administration category. He has published extensively in major economics and education journals, and in 2007, his work on religious education in Pakistan received the George Bari Award for the best paper published in Comparative Review in 2006 from the Comparative and International Education Society. His research has been covered by major journals. He has got the attention of The Economist, Toronto Globe, The Mail, US Today, Financial Times, and he holds a doctorate in economics from the MIT. Moderating this session with me is Dr. Faisal Bari, who is the Dean of School of Education. He's the Associate Professor at SOEM, School of Humanities and Social Sciences, and he has published widely, and he has worked with several multilateral and bilateral agencies, including the World Bank, UNDP, DFID, and the Asian Development Bank. He has been a regular columnist for The Nation, for Dawn, and he has his doctorate from McGill University. Welcome, both of you. Dr. Bari will help me moderate this session. Dr. Bari, over to you before I invite Dr. Tahir Andrabi to begin his proper presentation.
Thank you very much, Tayyaba. So it's such a pleasure, Tahir, to have you here for this session. Tahir obviously has been working on Pakistan for a long time. I've been privileged to have known Tahir for the last 25 odd years now. And some of the work that pertains very directly to the issue at hand. The quality of education that we talk about, and this we have seen not just through ASER, but a number of other studies also, has been very poor in Pakistan in general as well for majority of students. And then in 2-3 years ago, we were hit by COVID, and now some of the worst floods that we have had for quite some time. All of these have disrupted education a lot. Tahir has a lot of work that talks about not just about learning losses in terms of, and Tahir will define, I'm sure, learning losses and the manifestation of that, but also what medium to long-term impacts of such losses are on the generations that actually go through this. Tahir's work on after the quake also shows that not just an education dimension, but life chances and a number of other dimensions as well. So at this important juncture, when schools are again closed across Sindh and South Punjab, as well as Balochistan, and they might be closed for some time, but more importantly, reconstruction, rehabilitation will also take time. Tahir, it would be very nice if we could have lessons towards the end of the talk about what do we do? What should policymakers be thinking about in terms of how to get education started, restarted, and to minimize the impact, both short term as well as medium to long term, that this is going to have on the sort of cohort of children that are in schools right now. So Tahir, thank you very much, and over to you.
Thank you, Faisal and Tayyaba. It's always such a pleasure to be part of the LUMS live series and to be able to interact with folks from the School of Education. It's a wonderful hub of intellectual activity, and I feel very fortunate that now when the issues, as you raised, are becoming more starker and dire, that we can get to this stuff. Faisal, I'm going to share my screen, and it will be, let me just go here. Okay, can you see my screen?
Ji.
Okay.
We can do Zoom here.
Just hold on one second. I am and
there we go.
Just one second. Yeah, just give me one second. I have too many screens here. Just give me one second. Yeah, sorry, I'm having some issue here. Can you give me 1 second? Sorry,
Sure.
It's like a okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that works, right?
Ji.
Okay, so I am going to talk about a specific kind of a program that we have been thinking about implementing and working with this, at that time, thinking about like post-COVID, what we are calling learning losses. And I want to talk in detail about it, and particularly how to think about a specific one. And Faisal, then I'll come back to some of the things that you talked about, and we can address those in the Q&A, particularly the long-term lessons from the earthquake, which is not so much a part of this presentation. Okay, so, I mean, here's the roadmap for what I'm talking about. And one of the things that policymakers can do, I want to talk about this targeted instruction program in terms of dealing with these extended school closures. And I want to talk about, from a theory point of view or from a framing point of view, what we are calling the systems view, which is this kind of work that my long-term colleagues, Asim Khaja and Jishnu Das, I've been working with them, which we call the systems view. And here I want to talk about a teacher-centered systems view, okay? And what I want to do in this presentation, we have a teacher baseline survey that we just did in KP, and also child diagnostic tests. So I can give you at least some results from those as well, okay? And now, what's the problem? The problem is, you know, even prior to the pandemic and COVID and the floods, Pakistan and many other low and middle income countries were already in what one might call an education crisis. We have like a series of years of USR kind of reports of facts like what the one presented here, that very few people can do, you know, are at grade level and so on. This is all stuff that Faisal, you and others in School of Education know. We know that the learning crisis has worsened with COVID school-related closures, disrupted the education worldwide. My own work and many others have looked at the impact of school closures on learning in the past. And my work, particularly in the earthquake, suggested that it was not just the closures, but really the inability of schools to adjust to their instruction and pedagogy to recalibrate learning once students came back to school is what led to larger losses. And the problem is that these losses may be somewhat permanent. And being economists, what we can think is that you can monetize these losses in the sense of skills lost, in the sense of the ability to participate in labor markets, and so on. So the point about thinking about these losses is now more urgent than ever. So this is just to give you a sense. This is not just my thinking. This is a survey which we have done for over 5,000 teachers in KP. And this is the question that we asked them. This has happened, the survey was in May. And we asked them, do you believe that many students are currently far behind the curriculum and need help catching up? And about 85% of them, strongly agree or agree, right? I mean, to this thing. So it's not just us. We just people on the outside or analysts or activists or policymakers who think this is an issue. People who are the frontline responders here, the teachers, also think this is a serious problem, okay? So what do? So what we are doing is, I was part of this World Bank committee called GEAT, which is on education interventions. And when you look at, there is a whole global movement, right, called TAR, which is teach at the right level. And most people think that teach at the right level is one of the interventions that has shown to have an effect. Now, most of the studies on TAR really have been around India, and that's where we get a lot of the evidence from. But the problem with TAR, not the problem, but the problem with implementing TAR is that context really matters. And there is more than one way. And the whole idea is that you don't focus on the curriculum, but you focus on the child and try to meet the child wherever she is. And that's what we are trying to do in a nutshell. So what we did is designed a contextualized systematic approach to fill in learning gaps in foundational skills. So what we call TIP, which is the Targeted Instruction Program. And it basically has these steps, and I'll kind of go through them. It assesses every student's actual learning level, sorts students into appropriate peer learning groups. And part of what we are doing is using technology to aid teachers. And I'll tell you why we are using technology in delivering content. So this is kind of the TIP kind of view of the world that, without any kind of change in practice, all kinds of things have happened with a child, leading to lots of gaps. And I'll show you some evidence on that. And without TIP, the worry is that these inequalities will persist. Now, there's a debate on it, whether it worsens or it just persists or they can catch up. We are still in discussion on that. But the whole idea is that by the time these kids finish 5th grade, they at least have some foundational skills. And the foundational skills definition is not mine or yours. It's looking at the SLOs from the government curriculum. So essentially look at the 3rd grade SLOs, which the government itself has agreed, the Pakistani people, of what kids need to know. So that's kind of our definition of foundational skills. So this is like the program typically. You start off with diagnosing learning, and I will give you some results because you've done the baseline test. And this is the first time I'm showing those results. So you diagnose learning. Then this is the more important part, which is you sort students. You sort students across classrooms into subject-wise learning groups. There's a lot of detail here, school specific on how it's going to be done. Some schools have very few teachers, some have a lot of teachers, etc. And then what you do is do targeted instruction. We have 40 activity-based lesson plans, and then you track learning as to what happens. So this is an iterative process between targeting instruction and tracking learning. But the point is that instruction is targeted at the student's level, not at the grade. Okay, so that's kind of the people associated with it more famously are Rukmini Banerjee and Pratham in India. Okay, so this is how we do, right? Diagnose learning. There's a big diagnostic assessment. This has already happened in this program. We sort students across classrooms. So students from a different, all different levels will come together and they will kind of go through it together. Then there is targeted instruction to student learning level. And these are 40 lessons per subject wise. So English, Urdu, and math. And we have 4 different remedial lessons. So that means 440 lessons were prepared This we did in talking to a bunch of people, but largely our technical collaborator was Bill, the NGO. So we worked quite a bit with them. Define mastery of foundation skills to cut down on unnecessary SLOs. Scripted lesson plans, lots of aids, lots of help. Innovative pedagogy, make learning fun. The language is phonics-based, math is concept-based. So there's a lot of training that the teachers have gone into this as well. Okay, but then the other thing is teachers' technology tool. So we create a technology tool which is smartphone-based, and we have piloted this a lot with the teachers, which allows people to help them grade, help them sort, we'll give them details on each child. They just have to enter the test scores into the tool. And there is a lot of training and support material on this. So we've been working for over a year in terms of doing small pilots in both in government schools and in some NGO schools as well. Okay. So here's what I think is really what I call the teacher-centered systems view. Okay. So this is like the broad impact evaluation question, right? So our biggest impact evaluation question is, can technology help teachers implement remedial education at scale? Everybody is interested in how to do this thing at scale. The prior successful TI in like India and others used costly additional labor inputs. There were volunteers who came in and would help, or assistant teachers and so on. I mean, so the question is, can you implement this kind of stuff as part of the regular education system, right? That's kind of the big policy question. But there is more than that, right? I mean, I think that the key actor in implementing any kind of this, either catch-up programs, targeted programs, remedial programs, is the teacher. And one of the things you need to understand is, if you bring in pedagogical innovation, what are the constraints that teachers face in adoption of that innovation? I'll give you two examples that we worked on. All teachers, and this is not just teachers, everybody, I think, is worried about extra workload. People think that any change, innovation, and pedagogy is going to be more work for them. Okay, that they think that it will require extra after-school instruction, extra teaching, grading exams, sorting students. This is all time-consuming. And they said, listen, if anything adds more to our time, we won't be able to do it. So what did we do? So this is called responding to these frictions. What we made sure is that, and this required a lot of negotiation with teachers, government understanding of the regular school timetable, is make TIP part of regular class time. And then for those 8 weeks that TIP is happening, suspend regular instruction. And I think the teachers were willing to do it. The nice thing is that teachers believed a lot that there's something like this needs to happen. So it wasn't a question of their willingness, it was just a question of enough hours in the day. So that helped. And the idea of the tech tool, so what they're really concerned about is the sorting and grading and how are they going to do all of that. So the tech tool really helps them do that. And so that creates, at least on the time side, I think it helps the teachers quite a bit. The second, I think Faisal and Tayyaba, we also know, right, when we were working together on the Punjab Assistant Education Project, which is misaligned incentive, right? I mean, that alignment of message and policy. What we wanted to make sure is what is happening at the school level, that once we are talking to teachers about changing pedagogy in a particular way, that message is aligned throughout the system. I remember the AEOs telling us that it's not they who need training, but their supervisors. So this time we were very careful in making sure from the secretary to district office to the circle AEO, all of them are on the same page, which is not monitor and insist on finishing of curriculum by a certain date. That was the main job of the AEO. The AEO typically goes into a school. What she really looks at is what page the teacher is teaching that day, and is that page the same as what the curriculum monitors, right? Which in terms of foundational skills and getting kids back is like the worst thing that you can do. And then at the grassroots level, we train and we have done a lot of relationship building at circle AEO level in KP, so that these people also understand what's going on in the school. But that's like, this is like typical innovation. This is general, I think, for any program. For a technology-based program, I think there is other stuff. And I think this is very fascinating, which is that teachers, and I want to show you the data here, and I think Faisal and both of you and many other people are familiar with this. I mean, we have all looked at the MS Punjab but I think that this time I'm taking it seriously, that there is a lot of heterogeneity in teaching behavior and adoption of pedagogical innovation. And preferences, beliefs, and capabilities of teachers are widely different. Now, some of this heterogeneity is observable, while some is not. In particular, we think that teachers might know their own self better than what can just be revealed in data. So that was one of the things really, that how do you really understand how people differ in their view towards technology, innovation, and beliefs like that. And these are the questions that we were trying to think about, right? So when you mandate the use of technology, for instance, should you mandate the use for everybody, or you take into account heterogeneity? There's a very nice papers on adoption of technology in agriculture, which say that not everybody benefits from the use of technology, right? Some people are just not very good at it. The cost of them learning new systems is really high. Maybe if you just continue with the old system. So the big question is, do you do it with a uniform mandate for everybody, or you allow people to self-select? I think that's really kind of important. And people who benefit the most, are they the ones who are going to self-select if you give them an idea of how to do it? The problem is that people might not know exactly how good they are and so on. So one of the big questions is that tech is kind of an experience good, which means that you figure out how good you are at it, what its benefits are, what its costs are, only after you have actually used it. Before you have used it, you may not have been fully aware with it. So what we do is this is exactly the study design. It's a large scale pilot. Okay, 1,250 primary schools in KP. So this is just telling you what the numbers in KP right now are. This is 27,000 total schools. We are working in 2 districts, Mardan and Peshawar, which have 3,200. These are primary schools, okay? And there, we look at primary schools, which have 2,535, not looking at just Kachi schools dominant. And after that, we select about 50% of schools. So it's a large pilot, 150 schools. We are looking at all grades, K through 5. So what I'm going to show you today is stuff from grades 3 to 5, okay? But this covers all of the program. And when you look at, there is an experimental research design to it, and which is trying to really get at this question of selection into technology. Should it be mandatory? So there is one where it's a TIP program, but no technology support. So this is like a paper-based program, okay? These are equally designed, so think about it, right? 5 groups, about 200 plus schools in each group, over 250 or so. Then there is a group in which all the teachers are supposed to use the technology. So this is mandatory. Then we have a group which is optional, where teachers are allowed to opt into technology or opt out. And here, what we are really interested in, who are the teachers who opt in versus who don't. Number 4 is where we're really trying to get at this experience good idea, is that for the first half of it, we require everybody to use technology in this group. But the idea is after a month or so, these guys would know, at least get some familiarity with technology, and then they make an informed choice. And then we can compare, right? I mean, child learning outcomes on each of those. And so the question is this one of the major kind of hindrances towards innovation, right? Feeds into the larger literature on teachers' motivation, intrinsic motivation, extrinsic, but really in terms of adoption of technology, adoption of innovation, because some things have to change. We can't be doing the same thing as we were doing before, okay? Okay, I think that what I'll do is take a quick check here. Faisal and Tayyaba, this is kind of introducing the program. And if there is something that we need to pause and take a break, or should I just continue?
No, please go ahead, Tahir.
Okay, I will. Thank you. So here is our survey and diagnostic test. And what I will do is spend some time talking about the heterogeneity in features. And it's pretty interesting. And then I will also talk about the child diagnostic test as to where the kids are right now and some of the issues along the way, okay? So here it is. This is the teacher survey, which was done in May and April and May of this year. So this is literally the current cycle. Okay, so here it is, right? So the first thing that you notice, right, and this is true everywhere. I think that it is in Pakistan, right? So this is teacher A. This is my total 5,000 or 6,000 teachers, okay, in the sample. And you can see right here, right, that there are two groups. One is which is centered around age 30 to 35. That's a big node of students of teachers there. And then an older group between 50 and 55. So there's like two local maxima here, right? One right here and the other. So it's almost like this bimodal distribution. You are seeing this in other provinces too. So it's not like the same kind of a population where there is a central group, which is the largest in size and young and old around it. So it is really bimodal, and I think this has lots of implications. Here, this is by gender. So this is now both males and females. And you can see that the blue is the male. If you can see it, the blue is very distinctly bimodal. There is a larger group of 50-year-olds in the KP sample from males, and another one in female, another one for a younger one. So two large groups, almost two non-overlapping age groups here. For females, it is a little bit more continuous. And what it basically tells us, if you look at the next one, this is age, but age is very correlated with this thing, right? Year of first appointment. So I have year of first appointment for these teachers. And you can see there is a group which was appointed in the 90s. There is somewhat a larger group here. Then what you have is this big spike in hiring around 2015. So you see that. And then when you overlay the gender here, so you can see that in the new hiring, the red is males. There are more males hired in this 2015 hiring, but a large number of females are also hired, right? So this is the upward slope of this, the upward node here of this curve means lots of people hired around 2015, both males and females in blue, though more males. In the early hiring in the 1990s, the red is on top of the blue, which means there are more males than females hired in the beginning. But then there is some equalization period where generally there are more females hired in the middle. Okay, so I think the overall sample is that there is more males than females, though the number of female teachers has really gone up. So this, I think, is a very interesting spike in hiring, and then comparing it to these people. So this is a problem, right? I mean, all of these things are confounded. You have people who are younger, who have been hired later. Now look at their educational characteristics. If I compare the two worlds, one is post-2010 hirees and pre-2010 hirees, STEM degree holders in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, these degrees, about a third of the post-2010 hires are STEM degree holders, and compared to only 3% before 2010. So huge difference here. And then this is true in Punjab also, that the new hiring is a lot at the master's degree level. So you see about 80% of the post-2010 hiring is at the master's degree level. So you see, right, you go back here, younger, newly hired, more science trained, more master's degree, right? So it's almost like these two groups. Then what I do is I ask this question about their confidence in technologies. We have a lot of questions. This is my first cut at the baseline. We have a full baseline survey here. So there's a lot more things that we can answer here. So this is the question of your confidence in how confident you are. So this is both confident and very confident, but it doesn't really matter. It's very similar. So you can see very clearly that people are quite familiar with confident with SMS and WhatsApp. Use of smartphone, basic camera, computer, everything else then starts falling, right? Computer is like really, this is two different types of computer usage. You have email, okay? So all of these are kind of around 50. Smartphone and WhatsApp seem to be technology that people are more familiar with. Now these are regression results, right? On the confidence question, okay? And these are multiple regressions where I regress on all of these variables. And also age. I'm not reporting age. Remember, age is very correlated with when you were hired. And that's one of the things that we have to really think about. So now look at smartphone, right? Usage. So males are more confident. Tablet males are more confident. Computers males are more confident. Email males are more confident. The only place where females are more confident is SMS and a little bit on WhatsApp. So it's very interesting. And SMS usage, I'll show you another graph here, is where women teachers seem to be saying that they are quite comfortable. Otherwise, it seems male. Now, there is a lot of literature on confidence, right? Which is that females generally say that they're less confident and males will always say they're more confident. But, I am controlling for their master's degree. I'm controlling for STEM, when they were hired, all of that stuff. But this is something that we want to think about, right? Which is when we give people use of technology, we want to be really, the question is, should we make it more customized according to people's confidence or not? And our program tries to look at that. This is access. You worry that people don't have enough access. Certainly tablets and computers people don't have access to, but smartphones, about 70% of the people say that they have easy access to smartphones. So that's about roughly in the market, right? And this is access to technology. Once again, forget the basic phone. Very few people have a basic phone. The basic phone is dead in Pakistan, okay? So you can see that on smartphone access, males are on the left side of this red graph, which means it's a negative, which basically says that females have more smartphone access than males. Now, younger people, right, everywhere. Look at the younger people access versus these are people who were hired post 2010. There's way more than the average smartphone access. And the younger people are also masters and STEM largely, and that has a positive effect too. But hired 2010 has an effect everywhere except this basic phone, right, which is its negative. So quite interesting there. Okay, so this is kind of teachers' beliefs, right? I'm trying to really figure out. So I just asked these two questions. I have about 40 questions like this. So I'm kind of cherry picking and just showing you some brief stuff. So this is, we ask teachers, do you think it's fair to ask teachers to use technology that they may not be comfortable with? It's like 50-50, right? Many people think, no, people should learn new technology and so on. So it's okay to ask them to do stuff. And others think, no, you can't ask people to do stuff that they are not comfortable with. And I think we are trying to exploit that variation and see what that happens. And this is really the big question, which we say, do you agree that teachers should stay on track with the syllabus even if some students fall behind? And here 30% agree with it, but 70% do not, agree or with this statement. So very clearly that, you think about, there's a whole literature in personnel economics on what is called reciprocity, which is if you ask people to do things that they believe in, people are more productive. So we really want to get at this idea that, are people thinking, are teachers reform-minded? Are teachers thinking about this innovation? Are teachers intrinsically motivated about this stuff? And if they are, can we see it in the result? Okay, this is very fascinating because I'm just going to talk about this targeted instruction program, but there is also a guided instruction program pilot that we are doing, a very large one, where we are trying to have teachers communicate with parents. And so one of the big questions is this SMS use by teachers, because I think that SMS or WhatsApp. And so the question is, how effective is that in terms of moving forward? And here again, look at the gender differential. I mean, the question is, female teachers are more likely to frequently use SMS or WhatsApp message to communicate with parents. This comes out very clearly. Younger, newer hires are more likely, urban are more likely. This is Peshawar Mardan, there is really no effect. Even though this post-2010 hiring, and this is very correlated, you do get more educated and more technically educated people more likely to use them, but certainly female. So I think that this was something we were worrying about, which is that would female teachers be able to, would we be able to correspond with female teachers on SMS and all, as opposed to men? Remember, we are talking about KP, where there is a lot of parda and stuff. But it doesn't look like it. It looks like they're quite comfortable using this, and more so than men. Now, I don't know whether it's the communication with parents part, that female teachers are better at that, which is a big question. That's one of the big things that I want to work on later in the new program, which is what exactly is, we are talking about how to, come out of this COVID and floods. And one of the big things is going to be this enhanced communication between teachers and parents, particularly moms. So it's like this female nexus of a female teacher and a female parent. So this looks like it actually might be okay. Now, this is something I was concerned about. We have a lot of these young people. I was very worried that these young people are going to specific types of schools. So schools are segregated, one where the old guard is, and the other is where the young people are, but that's not true. So which is nice, right? Otherwise, you would have a problem. That most schools have at least one young person, right? So the x-axis here is proportion of new hires at the school. So if you look at the median school has roughly half of the teaching staff is a new hire. In these schools, more than half of the teaching staff is new hires, and here it's less. Now, there is a small group, about 20% of schools, which has no new hires. I'm kind of interested in this question in terms of diffusion of innovation. Does that matter? And Tayyaba, you have been very interested in this question of communities of practice and people learning from each other. And I really do want to see if there is an externality between the rich and the old, right? I mean, I am on the older side now, and clearly, right, it's my RAs and others. And I want to shout out to my RA, Angela Tran, who did a lot of work with me on this. So she deserves it. But, I learned a lot from technology from younger people. So the question is there this learning synergy? And we can see there is a wide variety of saturation of young people within each school. And I think that's the question. Can these people be used as agents of change in teaching older folk like me? Okay, I'm going to the last part now, which is the baseline test results. Okay, so here's a test we did. I'm only showing you data from 3 to 5, even though we tested all grades, okay? So this is a lot of kids, 118,000, 3 to 5. Total number of kids that we tested is 240,000. So this is class 3, class 4, and class 5. Roughly a quarter of the schools are urban. Just to give you that number, I didn't show you the median school size in terms of number of teachers in KP in our sample is between 4 and 5. Okay, I'm going to stop in just 2 minutes here. Okay. Okay, so here's what it is, right? So they were tested in 3rd grade foundational skills. It's a very elaborate test, more elaborate than Pratham. We can do IRT with other LEAPS tests and so on. And here it is, right? So these are the people we think do not need any remediation, and these are the people who do need remediation, okay? So you can see in 3rd grade, if you look at 3rd grade foundational skills, pretty much, more than 80% in everything, certainly about 90% in English and math need some remediation. And I'll tell you what exactly it is. Very few people don't need remediation. The good thing is this number, look at 5th graders, right? It really goes down, right? So 41% of 5th graders have mastered the Urdu foundational skill level grade 3, right? So these people don't need remediation. But compared to the 3rd grader, it's 84 versus 59. Now, many other studies in India don't show this. This is something we want to think more about. Finally, look at this. So this is the level of remediation. Okay. So let's look at 4th graders. They are in the middle. Okay. So this is a 4th grader, does not need remediation. This is 4th grader who needs remediation at the 3rd grade level. This is a 4th grader who needs remediation who's at the 2nd grade level. Okay. This is a 4th grader who is at the 1st grade level, and this, the dark red, is a 4th grader who is at the Kachi level, right? Basically doesn't know anything. So needs to restart everything. So you look at the bottom, the red ones, right, which is grade 1 and Kachi, is a 4th grader, current 4th grader, okay? So about 40% in English, 20+% in math, 25% in Urdu. They are the ones, they are 4th graders who are at this level, okay? Basically need to restart. Now, I can't tell you the losses. I don't know. I don't have a panel data right now. I will have in February, where I will be able to see where these kids are relative to where they were. But this is compared to, this is what you might call criterion reference, right? This is relative to the criteria that government has set for themselves. And I can give you a lot more detail more on that, okay? This is just like a comparable to like Bloom's taxonomy, ASER type stuff as to the kinds of skills that people can do. I'm going to go through it. It's it's the same story, which is that becomes harder, right? These are fifth graders, right? This is a third grade SLO, 3-digit addition or subtraction. 44% of them cannot do it, right? Okay. Same thing with Urdu. Here's a timeline for this. We have done the baseline survey collection, the student testing, sorting is happening, timetabling, what is called nightmare, contextualized timetabling in schools. We have schools from 3 teachers to 25 teachers. And how to really figure this out. We have a great team with 50, 60 mentors who are doing it. As soon as this is done, it's, actually where we are in Madnan, there were no school closures. So I think we are okay. Then the lesson plans start. And so, okay. I want to go through with this guided instruction program, but I'll stop here because I think I've gone over my limit.
So Tahir, thank you so very much. This was very, actually, it was amazing data and also insights into what the situation is and what we're facing. So let me ask a couple of questions that make you reflect on this. Is the aim to, so once you've gone through the implementation of the lessons plans, the aim is that then you'll check whether these deficiencies have been remedied, and are they at the level of instruction that they're supposed to be at. So that's the idea. And this will be through these 40 lessons per subject, right?
Yeah, we have a control group, which is kind of business as usual. Then we have, so it's both, right? I mean, we want to really figure out, so that is what is a straightforward impact evaluation. Look at whether this targeted instruction works on the average. But then we have targeted instruction with paper, right? Mm-hmm. And then we have targeted instruction with all kinds of these technology variations. Mm-hmm. So we will be able to answer those questions as well. And the point is to look at delta. And we will be able to look at delta. We will be able to look at whether it works better with the younger kids, older kids, the heterogeneous side of it, whether kids who are very far behind, we'll be able to see whether these functions, these improvement functions, like, how concave are they or convex or things like that.
Now, if I ask you to reflect a little bit beyond this, the work that you've done on, so what does this mean? Because of the floods, we are seeing major closures. Are you suggesting that such a program that you pilot be actually developed at the national level and implemented when children come back? Is that the way forward that you're thinking for almost across the country?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the KP people were very interested in going beyond this pilot. And I said they wanted to do more. They were ready. But we said that, listen, I'd be a lot more comfortable in recommending something that, once I've gone through one cycle with the pilot. We had some conversations in Sindh as well on some of this. Listen, it doesn't have to be this specific program, but some version of something like this has to happen. What you need is, now the question is, there are lots of degrees of freedom on how to do it. But my feeling is that, I'll give you an example, Faisal. I mean, forget the floods for a second. I mean, I was in KP. Think of a typical child, right? So like 95% of the student population is Pashto speaking, okay? Now these kids go back home. They haven't gone to school in about 18 months. Yeah. The language at home is Pashto. They don't have any books at home. They haven't seen an Urdu written word in a year and a half. You bring the kid to class, you observe a current classroom right now. The teacher starts off teaching Urdu in Urdu, and then in like 10 minutes, he reverts back to Pashto because nobody's getting what he's saying. So my sense is that the reading crisis, and particularly where in these segments of population where there is very little print support at home or reading, is immense. It's worse than you think, than these numbers think. Okay, so, and particularly I want to hear also say, and you look at our current textbooks, the single national curriculum books and all that. I haven't done a systematic study, but during focus groups, I talked to a lot of teachers on that. Okay. And it is very clear the books are really hard. So here are these kids who have really fallen behind in reading. I mean, dramatically so. And then you really hit them with this really content-heavy, difficult material. Well, I mean, it's obvious what's going to happen. What you're worried about is that these kids just, and I'm just talking about Urdu right now. Forget English and mathematics, right? So my sense is you've got to take some discrete step of let's see what happens, right? I mean, in India, I mean, the results are good. There's a whole stuff going on in Africa right now. The results are positive. They're not dramatic. Well, let's see. I mean, right now, India did a study that a lot of they had a panel actually, Abhijit Singh and Karthik. And so they do say that about, there's big losses, but people do recover a lot. So we'll see. I mean, I'm positive. I'm hoping that people recover, right? That these not become permanent.
Tahir, just a question again also. So before I put some of the questions from the audience, just one more question. Is this a steady state problem also? So, I mean, are you also saying, I mean, yes, there have been losses in COVID and now due to floods, but are you also saying that because teach at the right level is about steady state as well, that maybe we try to do too much too fast and don't care about how children, so remediation works because even if there were no losses, children fall behind, and therefore you need this process somehow to come in. So is that also an argument for making books easier, trying to reduce SLOs and so on? Are we going just too much, too fast?
I think so. I mean, I am of that's what it looks like, prima facie, right? I mean, in the sense that this basic up to about third grade. I mean, Jishnu, for instance, thinks that, listen, over the years of education in LEAP's data, there is catch up, right? I mean, students fall behind, but it doesn't, the gap doesn't increase. If you look at like SES, right? The poorer students start off low, but there is some learning gain over the years. I mean, we are even seeing that, right? The fifth graders seem to be doing much better in our tests than fourth graders, right? Even though, the losses kind of are the same. However, having said that, I think that my feeling is that, in California, there's a program called Reading by 9, right? Where every kid should become an independent reader by age 9. So the focus is on reading. I just don't think our books really take that into account, that the focus of elementary grades, which is grades K through 3, is not to teach kids huge amounts of content about the universe, about science, or about anything. I don't think it's ideology. It's not that people are teaching them too much religion or anything. You see, they're teaching them too much everything. So I think that focus, I would say, as an experiment, as a large-scale experiment, has to happen. It has to happen. I would say
this is a shout out to people. If you have any questions, please do post on Facebook. It raises the question, you talked about Pashto versus Urdu and English, of course. So is this a case for teaching in the home language as well in the early years?
I mean, okay, Faisal. I mean, I think Pakistan, I'm not Pakistani, right? I mean, Pakistan and language, Pakistani's attitudes towards language. I think listen, I mean, the School of Education better do something about it. Okay, somebody has to do a systematic, proper language of instruction at home and learning. I don't see detailed study. I would say, in fact, even dedicate like one whole practicum, everybody doing it, right? I think we need that kind of push. I think, listen, language of instruction and language of reading and language of writing, my problem is that discussion in Pakistan, the way I see it right now, is a non-starter. It doesn't even get started. You can't even have that conversation because it is so tied with national identity and political identity. And my view is, if you take a child-centered view, right? I mean, and you really think that the center of education, and I'm very happy in the systems view, the agency view, that the nexus that we want to really focus on is, for instance, at least I am doing for the next few years, is this relationship between the teacher and the child, right? We asked this question on teachers, right? I haven't shown you this. How comfortable are you teaching in Urdu? How comfortable are you talking about English? And so on, right? There's variation. Teachers are pretty honest. Okay, so I think this is a discussion that needs to happen. I don't think of this as a political discussion. I don't think of this as even an identity discussion. My sense is when we are testing kids, in a lot of this stuff, a language is an issue. You just never know how much of what we are getting these bad results are simply because of Urdu, or is it like some deep cognitive failure in these kids? So there's a lot. I mean, there's lots of questions here. I would strongly suggest that we go about it. I don't think it's an issue of Pushto also. I think this idea that our homes are what I would call print poor. I mean, look at your background, right? I mean, I see all these books, and your daughter is surrounded by books. And that just makes a huge difference. And our kids are not. So the question is, where are they going to get the spoken stimuli, the written stimulus, right? I mean, there's New York Times has these studies that rich kids have heard of so many more words than poorer kids, which really focuses on language development.
And
So,
if I may also ask about the breadth of the curriculum, in the sense that you're working with English, Urdu, and mathematics, but we saddled students with at least 3-4 more subjects that include social studies and Islamiyat and a number of other ones. Does that breadth of subjects also have an impact on the ability of the child to learn at the right level, or and is there a case for reducing that load or not?
yeah, we have, so far you're right. I mean, so far people have focused on the idea that there is too much depth required in each subject, right? So in math, right? I mean, this whole idea that what you get is a lot of material. So I think breadth in general is a problem. I mean, in general, right? You have only so many hours in a day, and you are really trying to shove in a lot of content. I mean, it looks like the Pakistani curriculum, and the curriculum process is like a curriculum by committee. There are lots of these political stakeholders or values, and curriculum everywhere is like that, right? Curriculum is a reflection of the national politics and identity type discussions in the United States. Huge battles everywhere. So that's normal. But what happens is it's by committee. So, there is lots of discussion in our curriculum on history. Okay, great. History is good. I think people should know history. But the problem is, then there is all this kind of, what I would call progressive stuff in there too. It's not that it isn't. So there's a lot of stuff on the environment. Okay, well, you have history, you have environment, you have religion, you have Pakistan. I saw a book, Faisal, which talked about Pakistan's constitutional structure. It's like 3rd grade book. Okay, Pakistan's constitutional structure is pretty complicated because you have 4 provinces. Wonderful. Hey, but I'm from Kashmir, right? Hey, we have something called AJK. What is that? And then Gilgit-Baltistan. Now, a third, I tell you, if you go to LUMS undergraduates, they will not know this whole thing, right? And you are expecting to tell 3rd graders the constitutional complexity of this country? Well, good luck with that. And there's this whole idea of federalism. Do you remember when did you hear the word wafaq in your life? I think I heard the word wafaq when I was 15. I didn't even know what federalism meant till I went to college. Right now, we are teaching that to 3rd grade kids. You tell me, right? I mean, what does that mean, right? I mean, people need to know the world around them. They need to make sense of what's going on. So I think that the good part was that when we had these conversations, this is mostly my conversations in Peshawar with teachers. Teachers know all this stuff. Teachers are very interesting to talk to. Our view is that teachers have constraints. And part of the job is to remove those constraints, right, and see what happens. That's the world of experimental research. Okay, there are lots of questions here. Somebody should tell me.
Yes, Rahma Amjad wants to ask what technology or app was used to assist in this process.
So here the work has been done at SIR by my colleague who was at Harvard, Zainab Qureshi, who is now doing this. She has set up her own operation. So they had been working for the last couple of years, at least 3 years, on this thing called My School. So have been really working with this idea. So it's developed by SIR, worked a lot with Dil and with some other NGOs in terms of piloting it at schools and working with them. It's all free. I mean, it's all, there's no proprietary here. So the idea is that all of this would be able to be used by other people. But the idea that, I was struck by the idea that when you asked teachers about quizzes, all of them said, yeah, they would like to do it, but it's just too difficult to make a quiz. They would like to do it, but but it's too difficult to track students. Right. So the idea is you reduce those transaction costs, and hopefully it works. Right. We'll find out. What I'm really worried is that technology, people will lose. People will be initially enthusiastic. It just depends, right? We are really very, very strongly tracking take-up over time. So we'll have a better idea about it.
Fatma, Tariq wanted to ask, given that we are in many places, we almost have to go back to scratch and start again. Is that an opportunity to reinvent, redefine, so that we do things better? This is, remember, after the quake also, this was to rebuild better was something that a lot of people.
Yeah, this is classic, Fatima. This is a good question. This is really saying, yeah. You're right? So Faisal is right. This is build back better. Yeah, I think that every crisis gives us an opportunity. So I'll tell you, right? So I have been around for a while. So, modest victories make me happy, which is, just think about it. To get permission from KP, to be able to tell the AEOs not to enforce the old standard, right, was a pretty big victory. So my sense is that this crisis has certainly created some room to be able to do something. So I think when you talk to policymakers, when I say at the level of the bureaucracy and the education department people, there is an understanding that we need something. And I'll tell you one of the things why teachers are so okay with this is because for the first time, you don't have to blame the teacher for the learning gaps. It's COVID. So that's why the school closures are so important. I tell the teachers, it's not your fault, right? These kids never learned. You never even had the chance. So I think that once teachers realize that they are not to be blamed for these losses, they become kind of willing collaborators in this whole process. I think we do define. I think we can go into simplification of the curriculum. We can talk about support to teachers of a particular type. I think that we can focus on what Bari Saab said on breadth versus depth. I think those kinds of experiments. Listen, this is 1,200 schools, right? It's about 30% of schools, 40% in these two districts. It's a pretty big pilot. KP was willing to go further. So, and the donors are willing to go further. So I think we can do some part of it. I think that this idea that, I want to say one more thing. Asim, for instance, like my colleague and my collaborator on many of these projects, he's of the view, Fatima, on your world, that there is so much happening during COVID in terms of extra outside school tutorials. Tuition has really picked up. In our own sample, even in Islamabad, in these back schools for school migrants, lots of people go to neighbors, to cousins, to elders. So his view is rather than focus too much on reforming schools, which I am working on right now, really try to jumpstart that ecosystem. Because, and I think that the more I go and talk to people in the field, so maybe that's the way to go. Also, right, it's side by side, empower parents, empower cousins, aunts, uncles, neighbors, paid tuition budgies, all of them. to really, get at these new curriculum kinds of concepts. I think that rather than saying that tuition is bad, I'd like to make it better. Maybe I think there is a lot of room to help them think about different curriculum. And I think
South Korea had some program at one time where they would encourage those families that didn't have the resources, provide them with some resources so that they could also have access to tuitions. And this was leveling the field in some ways. So I have last question. We are almost at 8. Well, we are at 8. Last question. This is for Azana Jahan. She's asking, is this all of this, given that we need so much remediation, is there a case for redoing the curriculum and books to reflect actually, to maybe slow things down, reduce SLOs, focus more on what is foundational? Is that a call for that?
I think, Faisal, that's a good question. So, so one is this idea of translation of curriculum into the books. That people have attacked a lot. The textbooks are bad. They're incoherent. Any attack that you do on Pakistani textbooks, I think is fully justified. But then what you are asking is go back one level, right? Is the problem in the conceptualization of learning, which is what the curriculum is supposed to reflect? I think that's a good question. I think that this idea, Maratib, you and I have taught forever, or I have. And the more you teach, I mean, I'm teaching econometrics, statistics. My sense is that students still don't understand, right? I was telling them yesterday in my lecture on the standard error of the mean. Okay, why is that such a deep concept? That the mean itself is a random variable, right? This is inside talk with Faisal and me. But I think people don't get it even after taking 3 years of stat. Okay, so some foundational concepts need to be reinforced over and over again. I think that they do. So my sense is, I would be happy, right, up to grade 3, to really, at least experiment with some sort of a different curriculum. After that, the pressure on parents and others becomes just too much. I mean, the real world starts creeping in, and exams and all this kind of world starts in. But I think we do have some degrees of freedom, especially in the early years. Maybe forget 3, but kachi pali, right? K1, 2, or something, right? Kids are really little at that time. Yeah. So I think that around that time, I think that we really should. Somebody had told me, not my idea, but we should have like a lower education commission, right? Not a higher education commission. I would say, this K1, 2 might be a place where we can really get to it.
Tahir, thank you so very much. This has been a lovely, lovely hour and great insights. I hope you will come back to such a forum to discuss some of the results and ways forward at some point when you see what the mediation leads to. And we look forward to hearing about that very, very soon.
Just wanted to say this 30 seconds. The team that I'm working with on this is Isabel McDonald at Berkeley. Zainab is at Harvard. In Pakistan, you all know Malia. She's been leading it. People here in Pomona, Angela. So we have a very nice team which is working on this. But by the time I'm serious about it, my feeling is that these changes and thinking about these things, I would be happy with smaller studies as well, just trying to get some particular insight, qualitative work, just focus on what goes inside the classroom, and actually see what's going on empirically. I think that might be, with either observing schools, what we do at SOE, but now like observing classrooms and actually going in and spending time seeing what is happening in a variety of classrooms, and documenting it in some standardized way. I think that would be great. I think that the onus is really on us to really do that. Jawahri, I will get to your question. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Tahir. That's very kind of you. And I hope that, as I said, we'll be back soon with another session.
I will. Always a pleasure to be at LUMS.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And Khuda Hafiz.